Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cooking with Big Mark. Today we are talking about convenience food and phyllo dough.
Good day, folks. The annual culinary trends ebb and flow, but few have the flexibility of phyllo dough. Bend it, twist it, roll it like a fat cigar, create turnovers, pies, even the famous baklava. So that's what phyllo dough is, folks. It's the hardest work of phyllo dough is making it, which nobody has to do anymore because you can buy it and every supermarket has it now. And the big thing is just learning how to deal with it. You have to understand because it is so thin, some really good phyllo dough, they make it so you can see through it. But there's no moisture in there. So as a result, the minute the air hits it, it gets dried up and you try and work with it, it'll break apart. So when you're doing, you just have to make sure that you sort of keep it, when you open your package up and lay it on the counter to work with the leaves, have a damp towel there and just put the damp towel over it. And as you peel off each layer with whatever you're going to do with it, just put the towel over the other stuff. And the layer you're working with, you're going to lubricate somehow, either with melted butter with herbs, with a syrup of some kind, with olive oil. It can be the same thing, but it's very flexible. The main thing is keeping it moist so it's always malleable and being able to work. The uses of it, they just go on and on. The simplest one is to take the sheets, which are usually about the same size as a half sheet pan, what they call it. You get that with the rim on it, and you just put a little bit of cooking spray in the bottom. Lay your first layer down. Now, if we're doing, it's difference between sweet and savory. If you're doing savory, you can layer each layer with with butter, olive oil, but some Parmesan cheese or herbs, grated cheese, herbs, just very light, something light that you can put in to enhance the flavor of your layers. If it's a savory one, you can put in sugar, turbinado, brown sugar. As I said, use syrups as the lubricant.
Sweet ones.
For the sweet ones, yeah. So this comes in, you just layer it up, and I use 3 or 4 sheets for this type of a square making thing. But whatever you want on top, same thing you do with the lasagna we talked about. But cheeses, it can be ham and cheese, it can be spinach mixture, which is the basis for the famous spanakopita. And but whatever you do, make sure everything you do in step of the way is seasoning everything. People don't season things. I've had spanakopitas that I finished just a dull bolt of mouthful of spinach, with whatever herbs, but no salt in it or anything. So you got to season them. Now at that point, you can just leave it open. If you layer it up, and just cut the square and serve it open face, or you can put another 3 or 4 layers on top and make it like a big pie, and then you just cut the squares from that. It can be eggs with or whatever. The other way is when you get into triangles, and which is in our catering business the most famous, well known. I'd say asked for hors d'oeuvre was a cheese triangle. And it's the simplest thing in the world to make. It's just filled with a little cheese filling. You want to get your phyllo dough size, about this size, strip, like 10 by 4. And then you're going to start in the bottom corner. And then you can see this on Google as well. But here's the bottom of the paper. You put your first spoonful of stuff there, and the only spoonful, I should say. Then you fold that over so the ends meet and see a triangle. And you just do the same thing again the next way up, and then fold it over, and there's your little package. And whatever inside is totally enveloped. You might want to put a little bit of egg wash on the bottom of this here, so when it cooks, it does, to cook it seam down. Now you can put anything again in there: spinach, peanut butter and jelly. It can be anything that you want.
When you used to make the cheese triangles, Dad, what cheese did you use? It was cream cheese and something else?
It was cream cheese, feta cheese, and grated Parmesan cheese. It was 3 kinds. And as I say, it's just a simple. It's very, very, very popular. Everybody likes it. It's easy to handle, and it's nice and buttery and tasty. Phyllo dough, the people now, Athens company who makes most of the biggest ones, they have these little cups now that are about the size of a 50-cent piece. And they're very, you can put, again, anything you want in those things. Any cheese mixture, any mixtures of all in the little bitefuls, mouthfuls, it takes you 3 seconds to mix something together, put it in, either cold or in the oven, and you got instant hors d'oeuvre. I mean, it's just amazing. The cigars are the other ones that I tend to get a kick out of. This is where you just layer it out, and again, you spread on it whatever you want to do. It could be, again, be peanut butter and jelly, as I mentioned. It could be any ham and cheese that you do for ham and cheese, or any kind of a thing that you use to make a panini. One of my favorite ones to do that is with goat cheese, prosciutto, and fig jam. And let me tell you, that is a tasty mouthful. You just roll it up and bake it 350 oven for about 12 to 14, maybe 15 minutes. The triangles you mentioned before, those usually bake about 12 to 13, 14 minutes. These are becoming a little thicker, the dough of the sheets. I'd say it might be like 14 to 18 minutes, but you can see when it's brown, you can tell.
What temperature do you bake it at, Dad?
350 for these. And then just cut it in little bite-sized pieces. And also you can use it for wrap around any kind of sausage, hot dogs, give you your pig in a blanket routine. You can wrap it around asparagus for a different thing, a little bit of prosciutto inside. That one would be a nice combination again. Thinly sliced ham, like a nice Spanish ham. Then so those are all the types of things that you do. Now, little cups I mentioned before that they provide for you. If you want to make those yourself, just cut the Phyllo dough in squares and push it into your cupcake pan to fit the cupcake pan. Then if you have two of them, put another pan on top of it so it holds its place, and bake that for about 15 minutes in a 350 oven. Take it out, you got neat little baskets to fill anything in, savory and or sweet. So then we come down to the sweet ones, which again, those little bite-sized ones we talked about before. If you're good or adept at making pastry cream, although I think now a lot of stores you can buy the darn stuff. Put a spoonful of pastry cream in, put a nice piece of fresh fruit on it, a strawberry, a couple of blueberries, some grapes, maybe a little bit of some red currant jelly. Just heat it up and just put a little glaze on the fruit, gives you a little sheen, a little extra flavor and enhancer. And you've got a beautiful bite-sized dessert that any French pastry shop will charge you $1.50 or $3 or $4 for. You can do the big thing. We used to get my favorite things. My dad used to like it, the Ritz with these, we used to call Napoleons, which are usually made with puff pastry, but it's layers of pastry cream with sometimes with the jams in it, and then with a frosting on top, with glaze on icing, and cut that in squares about that size. And again, it's a very well-known French dessert. The Italians have the Pattaginis are very similar to that. They use a rum-based cream. Then you cut in squares, and that. Then you go from there to the ubiquitous baklava, which is nothing but layers of phyllo layered up with a syrupy type thing, usually honey-based, and all kinds of nuts. Again, usually walnuts, and you can make it as thick as you want. But it's easy. It's easy, such easy stuff, because all the hard work is the dough, and the dough is done for you. All you got to use a little bit of imagination and flavor. It's the same old thing: FIFO, FIFO, FIFO. Flavor in, flavor out. So flavor your phyllo fast and have fun.
All right. Well, in the spirit of phyllo dough and its home country, we are going to have an Assyrtiko from the home of the Minotaur. This is an Assyrtiko from Crete, which is the southernmost Greek island. This wine is known for its great acidity, very clean flavors. It finishes in kind of a mineral way, almost like a Sancerre. Yep, you're getting a lot of clean flavor, a lot of salinity, and another step to the islands, so to speak. Thank you for tuning into Cooking with Big Mark. Tell your friends, subscribe,
No, on that wine, Mikey, just could that go either way, sweet or savory?
Savory.
Okay.
It would the acidity and the sort of very mild flavor profile, I think, would be steamrolled by something sweet.
All right. Well, unlike me,
Huh?
I said, unlike me. I'll see you later.
Okay then.